The problem with attraction, especially in the kind of world we live in now, is that it rarely comes with a manual. Most men walk around completely blind to the signals women send them. Not because they are stupid, but because they have been trained to ignore their instincts. They have been told to treat everything as friendly, to assume nothing, to never read between the lines. And then they wonder why they keep getting blindsided when a woman who is very clearly taken keeps giving them signals that make no sense at all. She is in a relationship, maybe even a serious one, and yet something keeps shifting when you are in the room. One moment, she is completely normal, polite even, and the next, the air around you changes, the energy tightens, her voice drops slightly, or her eyes hold yours for just a beat too long. It is a confusing, almost maddening experience if you do not know what you are looking for. And most men, especially good men who respect boundaries, brush these moments off as imagination. They convince themselves they are seeing things that are not there because they assume no woman who is taken would ever look at them like that. But that is where the mistake happens, because attraction does not disappear just because someone is in a relationship. It does not shut off like a switch. It just becomes quieter, more subtle, more wrapped in contradiction. The signs are still there. They are just harder to see unless you know exactly where to look. There's a lot of confusion around this subject, and understandably so. A lot of the advice out there is either shallow or downright manipulative, but what we are talking about here is different. It is not about chasing someone else's partner. It is not about breaking up relationships or playing games. It is about understanding human nature. It is about seeing clearly what is happening in front of you, so you stop gaslighting yourself into believing your instincts are wrong. Because if you have ever felt that shift, if you have ever been in a room with a woman who is taken and still felt like something was simmering underneath, you are not crazy. That feeling is real, and it is based on psychological and biological cues that have been documented and studied for decades. The only problem is that no one ever taught you how to read them. So, what we are going to do here is break down the 10 signs you need to understand. These are not just playful behaviors or friendly gestures. These are deep-rooted psychological and biological signals that reveal a level of attraction even she might not be fully aware of. By the time you finish reading this, you will never look at mixed signals the same way again. Let us start with the first sign, which is one of the most overlooked but one of the most powerful. Her voice changes when she talks to you. This is something you have probably noticed but never really thought about. You see her talking to someone else, and her tone is perfectly normal, a little brisk maybe, a little neutral. Nothing special. But then she turns to you and all of a sudden something shifts. Her voice gets softer, warmer, maybe even a little slower. It is not a huge change. It is not like she becomes a different person, but if you are paying attention, you can feel it. There is something in the texture of her words that was not there before. This is not random, and it is not politeness. It is instinct. It is one of the most primal ways women signal attraction when they cannot or will not say it out loud. Here is what is happening beneath the surface. A woman's voice is not just a tool for communication. It is an instrument of emotional signaling, and she uses it unconsciously to create a sense of connection with people she feels drawn to. Research in the field of nonverbal behavior has consistently shown that women alter their vocal tone when speaking to someone they find attractive, and they do this without even realizing it. The pitch goes down slightly, the rhythm slows, and the overall sound becomes more melodic. It is a biological response, not a calculated one. Her body is reacting to your presence in a way that her conscious mind might not even acknowledge, and the key to noticing this is contrast. You have to compare how she talks to everyone else and how she talks to you. If she is all business with other people, but suddenly gets warm and almost intimate when speaking to you, you are not imagining it. That shift is a signal. Now, of course, some women are naturally soft-spoken, some women are warm with everyone, but that is exactly why you have to look at the pattern. If she sounds that way to everybody, it is just her personality. But if she only softens when you are in the conversation, if her rhythm changes just for you, that is a different story entirely. And do not overlook laughter here. If she laughs easily around you, quickly and often, even at things that are not particularly funny, she is not laughing at the joke. She is laughing at the feeling of being around you. Laughter is a bonding mechanism. It releases endorphins and makes people feel safe and connected. When a woman laughs freely around a man, especially when she does not do that with everyone else, it is a powerful indicator of comfort and attraction. So the next time you are in a room with her, stop talking for a moment. Just listen. Listen to how she speaks to other people and how she speaks to you. If the tone changes, if it drops just a little bit softer and more personal, that is her subconscious telling you something her mouth never will. The ancient philosopher Seneca once observed that speech is the mirror of the soul. And when a woman's voice changes in your presence, That mirror is showing you something real. It is showing you that her guard is down, at least with you. Moving on to the second sign, she subtly changes her appearance around you. Have you ever noticed that on certain days, the days when she knows she is going to see you, she just looks a little different? Maybe her hair is styled differently, or she is wearing a shade of lipstick she does not usually reach for. Maybe she is suddenly wearing jewelry she never wore before, or her perfume seems new and more noticeable. These are not random choices. They are signals, especially when they are inconsistent with her baseline. When a woman is attracted to a man but cannot or will not express it directly, she expresses it through how she presents herself. She wants to be seen by him, not just in a casual way, but in a way that makes her feel desirable in his eyes. And because she is not going to say that out loud, she lets her appearance do the talking. The psychological mechanism here is simple. Appearance is a form of communication, and when attraction is involved, that communication becomes more intentional. She may tell herself she is just putting in a little extra effort for the day, but if that effort consistently appears when you are around, it is not coincidence. It is positioning. She is trying to stand out in your visual field. And here's a detail most men miss: mirroring. She may unconsciously start dressing in a way that reflects your energy. If you tend to dress more sharply, she might show up in something sleeker. If you have a more rugged style, she might lean into something earthier. This is called unconscious mimicry, and it is one of the most reliable signs of emotional alignment. But if she is taken, this will all be subtle. She will not make huge changes. She will not dress like she is going to a red carpet event. The signals will be in the small things: a slightly different shade of lipstick, a necklace she did not wear yesterday, her hair down when she usually wears it up. These are small changes, but they are meaningful because they are not for the room. They are for you. And the Stoic response to this is not to compliment her immediately or react like a puppy. It is to notice without making a big deal out of it. Let her wonder if you caught the shift. Let her sit in that uncertainty. Because when you do, you become more magnetic. You are not chasing her appearance changes. You are observing them with calm awareness, which actually makes her more curious about what you are thinking. The third sign clears throat to look for is proximity. She finds ways to be near you without it being obvious. If you start paying attention, you will notice that she is always around. Not in a clingy way, not in a chasing way, but she just happens to be nearby more often than seems statistically possible. She starts showing up at the same places you go. She starts being in the same room more often. She positions herself so that she is in your orbit, even if she is not directly interacting with you. This is called proximity pursuit, and it is a classic behavioral signal of hidden interest. People naturally move toward what they are drawn to, whether they admit it or not. And when a woman keeps engineering situations where she is close to you, it is because she feels that pull, even if she is trying to pretend she does not. This is subtle but incredibly reliable. She does not just appear next to you randomly. There is almost always a reason, even if the reason is flimsy. She needed to get something from the other side of the room, but somehow she ended up right next to you. She had to ask you a question, even though she probably could have asked someone else. She took the longer route just across your path. These are not accidents. They are choices she is making, sometimes unconsciously, to satisfy an internal desire to be near you. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. And when a woman's thoughts are colored by you, her body follows. Where her mind goes, her feet eventually lead. So, do not ignore it when she keeps showing up. Do not dismiss it as coincidence when she keeps ending up in your space. But also, do not pounce. You are not supposed to pounce on every signal. You are supposed to observe it, track it, and let it build. Let her keep showing up. Let her be the one who closes the distance, because the man who understands proximity does not need to chase. He simply stands in his place and lets the pull do the work. The fourth sign is physical touch. And this one is hard to miss if you are paying attention. The problem is that most men are so busy overthinking everything else that they completely miss the small touches. But here's the truth. Touch is one of the most powerful forms of nonverbal communication there is. And when a woman initiates even the smallest physical contact with you, it means something. It is a pat on the shoulder, a brush against your arm as she laughs, her knee lightly bumping yours, and staying there for just a second longer than necessary. These touches are small. So small they are almost deniable. But if you are paying attention, they are loud. They are loud because they do not have to happen. She does not need to touch you. There is no practical reason for it. But she does it anyway because she wants to feel the contact. She wants to break the barrier between you. In behavioral psychology, this is called haptic behavior, and it is a strong indicator of romantic interest. When someone initiates repeated light contact, especially in casual social settings, they are testing the waters. They are seeing if you will respond, if you will lean in, if you will reciprocate, and if she is taken, these touches will be even more deniable. She will do it quickly, casually, in passing, but she will do it more often than she does with other people. That is the difference. You are not just another person she happens to bump into. You are the one she keeps finding reasons to touch. And the Stoic response here is to stay composed. Do not jump. Do not flinch. Let the touch happen and remain steady. When she touches you and you do not react desperately, you show her something different. You show her that you are not like other men who get overwhelmed by the smallest bit of physical contact. You show her that you are in control of yourself, and that composure is magnetic. It makes her want to touch you more, not less, because she is trying to get a reaction out of you. And the fact that you are not losing your mind makes her more curious. The fifth sign is that she acts differently around you. This is about behavioral change, not just body language, but the whole way she presents herself. Does she become more playful or more reserved? Does she get louder or quieter? Does she act more awkward or more polished? The key is that she is not behaving the way she behaves with everyone else. There is an inconsistency, and inconsistency is a major tell. When someone is emotionally invested in you, their natural social rhythm shifts. They become slightly different because your presence is affecting their internal state. This is called behavioral mirroring disruption. If she is normally confident and outspoken, but gets shy around you, pay attention. If she is normally calm and collected but gets fidgety, pay attention. These are not random mood swings. They are reactions to you. Here's where most men get it wrong. They assume the woman is just having a weird day or that they make her uncomfortable in a bad way. But discomfort and attraction often look the same from the outside. Nervousness is not always a sign of dislike. Sometimes it is a sign that she cares more than she wants to admit. She is trying to manage her own internal reaction to you, and that management makes her default behavior shift. So, do not look at her in isolation. Look at her in contrast. How does she act with her friends? Relaxed and sharp? How does she act with you? Suddenly pausing, adjusting her posture, speaking more carefully, that contrast is everything. And if she is taken, that contrast gets even sharper because now there is guilt mixed into the attraction. She is not just drawn to you, she is conflicted about it. And that conflict makes her even more erratic in her behavior. She might pull back, become formal, avoid eye contact. That is not distance, that is containment. She is managing what she feels, but does not want to express. And the Stoic man sees that. He does not call it out. He does not push. He simply observes and lets the pattern reveal itself. The sixth sign is in her eyes. Eyes do not lie. You can fake a smile. You can fake a tone. You can fake interest with your words, but your eyes will always betray you. A woman can control almost every part of how she presents herself, especially if she is trying to keep things hidden, but her eyes react before her brain can catch up. They dilate, they fixate, they linger. And if you are paying attention, they tell you everything. The key to reading her eyes is to notice where she looks and how long she holds that look. Does she glance at you when she thinks you are not looking? Does she look away quickly when you catch her? Does she hold your gaze for a second longer than she should? These are not random behaviors. They are micro-signals of attraction. The most important element is pupil dilation. When someone is attracted to you, their pupils dilate. It is a physiological response that cannot be faked. The eyes are directly connected to the emotional brain, and when attraction kicks in, the eyes respond before logic can intervene. That is why a woman who is trying to hide her feelings will still give herself away through her gaze. She can control everything else, but she cannot control how her eyes react to you. So, watch her eyes. Watch how they move when you enter a room. Watch how they linger when you speak. Watch how they soften when you hold her gaze. And the Stoic principle here is to see clearly without reacting blindly. Do not assume anything based on one look. Let the pattern build. Let her eyes repeat the message until the words become irrelevant. When a woman keeps looking at you the same way over and over, you do not need to ask anymore. You just know. The seventh sign is that she asks deep questions. Most conversations are shallow. People talk about the weather, work, surface-level topics. But when a woman starts asking you questions that make you pause, when she starts probing beneath the surface, that is a sign of emotional investment. She is trying to understand you at a deeper level. She wants to know what makes you tick, what you believe, what you are afraid of. These are not casual questions. These are emotional access points, and she does not ask them to everyone. She only asks them to people she wants to be close to. This is where a lot of men get nervous. They are not used to being asked real questions. They freeze up or deflect. But the Stoic man does not freeze. He answers carefully, selectively, with strength. He does not spill his soul to anyone, but he also does not hide behind shallow answers out of fear. He gives enough to show he has depth, but not so much that he gives away his power. And the woman feels that. She feels that you are not an open book, that she has to earn access to you, and that makes her more interested. The ancient philosopher Cicero said that nothing is more noble than the soul, and when a woman is asking about your soul, she is showing you that she wants to be close. She is testing if you are worth that closeness. The 8th sign is micro-reactions of jealousy. Jealousy is always dramatic. Sometimes it is just a flicker, a small shift in her face when another woman enters the conversation. Maybe her smile tightens for a split second. Maybe she asks an extra question about a female coworker that feels unnecessary. Maybe her energy drops when she sees you talking to someone else. These are not obvious signs, but they are real. They come from a perceived threat to her emotional connection with you. Even if she is taken, even if she has no right to be jealous, she feels it because attraction does not care about logic. And when she feels that pull towards you, she becomes protective of your attention. The Stoic man does not provoke jealousy. He does not play games to make her jealous. But he notices when it happens because it tells him something about how she really feels. She is attached, whether she wants to admit it or not. And that attachment, once recognized, must be handled with integrity. You do not exploit it. You do not feed off it, but you respect it because it means you are affecting her in a way that goes beyond surface level. The 9th sign is body language. This is the most honest part of communication. Words can lie. Tone can be manipulated. But the body reacts before the mind can catch up. A woman who is attracted to you will show it through subtle physical cues. She will lean in when you speak. Her feet will point towards you. Her arms will stay open. She will play with her hair or jewelry. She will mirror your movements. These are all signs of interest. They are all signs that her body is drawn to you, even if her words stay neutral. The Stoic man watches these cues without jumping to conclusions. He compares her body language with others and looks for the difference because the difference is the tell. If she is this warm with everyone, it does not mean much. But if she is warm only with you, if she leans in only when you speak, if she mirrors only your movements, that is significant. That is a signal that is worth paying attention to. And finally, the 10th sign is emotional investment. This is the most powerful sign of all, because it is the one that proves everything else is real. Emotional investment is not about liking someone. It is about being affected by them. When a woman is emotionally invested in you, her mood shifts with your presence. You show up, she brightens. You pull back, she feels unsettled. You share something personal, she listens with more attention than anyone else in the room. She remembers the small things you tell her. She notices when you are off. She becomes reactive to you in ways that go beyond simple attraction. And the Stoic man recognizes this investment without misusing it. He does not manipulate it. He does not feed off it, but he respects it because it means he has a profound effect on her emotional world. So, these are the signs. 10 signals that reveal what a woman is feeling even when she cannot say it out loud. And if you have seen any of them, know that you are not crazy. Your instincts are real. The signs are there. The only question left is what you choose to do with them.